All right, next to the stage, we're going to welcome Mr. Doug Close, the Senior Vice President of Solutions Engineering at Sayers. For over 19 years, he's been growing the Sayers technology portfolio and leading several of our engineering teams. Currently, Doug leads the Solutions Engineering and Architecture team across all technology lanes, including cybersecurity, networking, and infrastructure. And prior to joining Sayers, Doug was a DJ and had amazing hair. True story.
He
Doug,
did leave
I'll turn
that
it over
in
to
there.
you. Thank you, sir.
Good. Thank you, Chris. And thanks for everybody for joining us today. So what I'd like to talk about today is resilience and what I'm certainly seeing and what many folks that I've been talking to and have seen in the industry is calling the year of resilience. And I've thrown together a simple model to see if we can try to measure resilience within our organization and figure out what the best approach to measuring our resilience. So that's what I'm going to go through today. So first, I'm going to talk about why resilience. So this statement came out from John Chambers in the middle of last year, which is pretty alarming, and basically stated that the 40 to 50% of the Fortune 500 are not going to exist in a decade. And then he went on to say, you know, basically because of all the events that we're seeing last year that were accelerating that, and probably 60% of the startups won't exist in a decade, and a number of them won't exist in the next 2 to 3 years. And it's really a period of time now where we either disrupt or we get disrupted. So whether or not you subscribe to that statement or not, basically the gist is here, it's now is the time to become resilient. The other statement that came out that caught my attention was based around transformation and the rapid change that you know, we were dealing with. Was the Microsoft CEO basically stating 2 years of worth of digital transformation took place in 2 months. And you know, looking back now, you know, maybe we saw more than 2 years of digital transformation that's taken place in the last year. So you know, that's something that we've all experienced, and once again highlighting the need to be resilient. So, you know, just in the last year, we've seen, you know, major challenges above and beyond just the pandemic. You know, we're seeing 100-year events now getting redefined as, you know, maybe every 10 years or every year, who knows. You know, we're seeing things, once again, more than just a global pandemic. We're seeing supply chain challenges, you know, with shipping, cybersecurity problems, delays in the supply chain. You know, we saw the Suez Canal get blocked, which carries 10% of global trade, 7% of the world's oil. We've got the Strait of Hormuz, you know, no issues right now, but any geopolitical threats could affect, you know, 1/3 of the world's oil, which goes through the Strait of Hormuz. So just some examples of impacts that we can face. There's obviously environmental impacts that we've faced. We've had environmental impacts associated with infrastructure, with the Texas power outage, and these are just a few that I'm naming here that we need to be concerned with. And then the World Economic Forum releases every year a global risk report. This was the one from 2021, released in January of 2021, and it includes a global risk perception survey. So many of you may be familiar with this already. If not, it's just a, you know, great reference resource to take a look at, and you know, good exercise to review and see how it relates to your organization and quite frankly your personal lives as well. I've certainly over the past 15 years have become way more aware of resilience initiatives, and I've been studying that for the last many years. So, it's your opportunity to plot this chart, see how it relates to you and your organization. But this is obviously at a global level, and we're going to be drilling down way below this. But this is a good reference point to start. And once again, all has an impact on resilience. So like I said, 2021, the year of resilience. Hopefully many of your organizations were practicing this prior to the pandemic. But I'm just going to make a general definition of resilience, which is the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. And like I mentioned, resilience is topping the list of initiatives from analysts and surveys pretty much across the board. And here's one statement from Gartner saying that by 2025, 70% of CEOs will mandate a culture of organizational resilience to survive. So once again, going back to what John Chambers stated there. So further defining resilience, if you get down to the business resiliency level, IDC had a recent conference just a month or two ago, which was excellent, Directions 2021. Feel free to look that up. I think most of that stuff is available freely online. But they define business resilience as the ability to rapidly respond to business disruption and restore business operations in a timely fashion. Then further went on to define digital resiliency as the ability to rapidly adapt to business disruptions by using digital capabilities to restore business operations and capitalize on changed conditions. So thought those were good statements, but we're going to drill down even farther into the IT organization, as most of us on this call are professionals in the information technology field. So I'm going to define it here as information technology resilience is defined as an organization's ability to adopt and accelerate business objectives through and beyond disruptions to its critical technology, personnel, processes, and systems which support them. And that led me to thinking about how we can easily measure and model this out. So what I've leveraged is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Many of you may be familiar with that. And what this does is it brings the measurement to a human level or human element. And it's easy to model, it's easy to communicate, it's easy to consume versus all the complicated frameworks that are out there. I know several of us have spent a lot of money for consultants that are crunching through complicated frameworks and producing reports that hardly anybody reads. But I'm not saying that's not important, but there is a level of communication to be able to effectively get your point across to continue to mitigate risk and build your resilience within your organization. So, there's several ways to look at this and analyze. As IT professionals, I'm suggesting that we can take a look at this model. So, just looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you have your physiological needs, your safety needs, love and belonging, esteem, and then self-actualization. And so basically what I've done is applied those to people, process, and technology. As we all know and are familiar with these concepts, we need all three of these being functional within our organization to be effective. And obviously we can be, effective at various levels within each one of these, but we're typically only as good as our weakest link. We see our clients that, certainly excel in some of these areas, but it's rare case that they're excelling in all of these areas. So it's important for us to understand where we can prioritize and get the most for our investments to become more resilient. So this is the model that I threw together for people. So this would be the information technology hierarchy of resilience for people, starting at the physiological needs level. So obviously you need compensation, availability. You may be dealing with, you might not be able to find the people to do what you need within your IT organization, so you have to outsource, or that's just a decision that you're making. And then you get to safety needs. You need health, well-being, retention, benefits, and even just focusing on well-being. There's just a lot of burnout today in information technology, so that's something to be aware of. And then moving to the next level is making sure you have a great work culture. You're providing work-life balance for your people. You're providing them training. They have the ability to stay connected even through the tough times like we've gone through. And then we get to esteem, where your employees and people feel respected. There's continuous improvement. They're responsive, and then with the goal of getting to self-actualization for getting the full potential out of your people and having true awareness. Now, certainly you can customize this for your own organization. So this is just an example. Then moving to process, once again, starting at the core physiological base level, making sure that, it's operational, it's functional, just the basics. And then you move up to safety needs, making sure you have security, cybersecurity, you can react to things. You have succession plan in place. And then you get up to the love and belonging level, where you're optimized, you're defined, you're responsive from a process perspective. And then building up to the esteem level, where you can be proactive, it can be redundant, agile, have continuous improvement. And then getting up to that top level of self-actualization by leveraging automation and have full alignment. Once again, you can customize this for your own organization. And then moving on to technology, and then starting at the physiological needs level, connectivity, basic infrastructure, and applications in place for your business to function from an information technology perspective. And then once again, moving up to safety, once again, having the cybersecurity technologies in place, stability, applications, recoverability. Now, a lot of this overlaps with business continuity and disaster recovery, and Patrick is going to be covering that here in the next session and exploring some topics there. But once again, I'm staying at the resilience level here. And then love and belonging level, being able to be productive anywhere, being integrated with your information technology, being collaborative, scalable, and then moving on to differentiation, dynamic, modern technology, and then moving to self-actualization with full potential, cutting edge, and even AI, which I would more call advanced intelligence. I've always been adverse to artificial intelligence. I think I've watched way too many dystopian sci-fi movies and TV shows, but if we get to actual artificial intelligence, that could be a resilience issue. And then, so basically you take those three hierarchies and then you can measure those 1 to 5 and give yourself a score. And that's a very simple process to take a look at your resilience and be able to communicate that effectively to other folks in your organization that may not want to take a look at all those very complicated frameworks. So, we're in a paradigm shift right now. Transformation is not optional. We need to balance our people, process, and technology investments and build that around our resilient needs and be able to effectively communicate that. And at the end of the day, do our best to keep it simple. Simplification is resilience. So Hope you enjoyed this new approach to taking a look at resilience, and we're going to be posting this soon on our SARES blog and many of the other sessions that we had today.